Ya sen, Merit sen. Mi en senti. Hey brother, beloved brother. Come to your sisters. Dua Asar, Merit Asar.
Adorations to Asar, beloved Asar.
Dua Asar, Nehast Asar.
Adorations to Asar. Come back to us, be resurrected Asar. Dua Asar, Unefer Netera. Adorations to Asar, the beautiful existence. Dua Asar, Her Abdu. Adorations to Asar, the innermost being in Abdu. Dua Asar, Nebdeta. Adorations to Asar, Lord of Forever. Dua Asar, Sutenhe. Adorations to Asar, King of Eternity.
Dua Asar, Unefer Netera. Dua Asar, Her Abdu. Dua Asar, Nebdeta. Dua Asar, Sutenhe.
Yasen merisen niyen senti. Duasar
Uja, everyone. Do you have sound? Can everyone hear me? Okay, very good. We'll go ahead and get started. First of all, duo everyone for coming out. We've had a busy couple of weeks with several programs. And this one has been a long time coming, in the making for quite a while. So do up everyone for sharing with it. Okay, let me know if you can see the screen that I'm sharing now. Overview of the initiation teachings of the Temple of Asar. Okay, very good. So go ahead and get started with a brief prayer, and I will turn on the video camera for now, and then I will turn it off afterwards to so we don't have any issues, and I'll turn it back on at the end. Can everyone see me? Okay, do it. I'm using two monitors. So if I'm looking to the right here, I'm looking at the other monitor where it's being controlled. Du Asar unefernetera. Du Asar hedabdu. Du Asar nejeta. Du Asar sutenhe. Okay, if we don't have any glitches or anything, I'll just turn off the camera for right now, and so we can just see the screen. Welcome everyone to the inauguration, the kickoff, as it were, the long time coming Temple of Asar 360 program. This program has about 3 components, and this is the first to be implemented. One of the others is a book to document pretty much everything that you're going to be finding, both in the physical trip to Kemet, as well as this website, as well as the course and the book. I think in preparing and doing the final stretch for preparation for the inauguration, which is today, I was thinking that it's very interesting that in doing the preparation, there were more nuances and more depth of things that were coming out while I was preparing the lessons, than what was even given on the trip to Kemet, because the trip to Kemet is a certain time you go to the temple. There's some limitations because there's certain information and time to get out. So if we had all the time possible, which this affords, this medium affords, then it is possible to get more of the teaching out and virtually comprehensively, extensively, not ad infinitum, but in a very extensive way. And up to now, the issue with doing that kind of thing has been limited. You can put all this stuff in the book, but a book can't really teach you. A book can't really, whack you over the head when you're misunderstanding something, or tell you no, that's wrong. That's and this medium allows text. So your book is in there. Allows video, allows audio, allows focus on extremely small details. But I don't want to give away too much because we're going to discuss that as we go along. But suffice to say that this particular program has been, I've been working on this for just about 2 years, and we're finally kicking it off. And I think this will actually facilitate the other aspects of the project as well. So this is as the screen says, overview of the initiation teachings of the Temple of Asar. This course and the website that is going along with it, along with the Kemet University support site, is all dedicated to learning and practicing and becoming immersed in initiatic teachings. That's what makes this totally different from in this application to the initiatic teaching. I'm not aware of any of this being done. This is like this kind of application. The virtual reality. Well, we'll get into that. What I want to do first of all is to give you a overview presentation, which shouldn't be too long, about 10 or 15 slides, and then we will go to the Egyptian Mystery School website to get to look at the information there on the course, which is essentially the syllabus, and we'll look at the this overview of the first lesson. But actually, what we'll do is after the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, we'll go to the site itself, and then we will come back to the syllabus and the lesson, and we'll wind down there. Okay, who is Asar, Osiris? This temple that you see before you in the background is the main temple of Asar in ancient times, and it is probably, that I've seen, probably the best preserved of the ancient Egyptian temples, and probably of any ancient world temple, say from any temple from uh, before, say, 1500 BC, 2000 BC. The picture on the top left is a idealized image of Seti the First, and he is the pharaoh or the Pera who commissioned the creation of this particular temple, and it was completed by his son. And the temple is dedicated to Asar, and there are two books that I've written about the story of Asar, the myth of Asar, how he was the first human king of Kemet, legendarily, and how he was killed by his brother, and he was brought back to life by his wife Asar, and then they gave birth to a son, Heru, who led to the redemption and the full installation of Asar, the full restitution of Asar to his position as leader of life, and the king of the netherworld. And so this myth is, we don't have time to go through the whole thing. That was just it in a nutshell. This myth is the foundation and the background upon which the teachings of the Temple of Asar is built. The temple has references to the myth, and also it is a kind of fulfillment of the myth. And so studying the myth of Asar and its mythic wisdom, which you get from the book, The African Religion, Volume 4, that becomes fully realized and fully fulfilled in the process of initiation in the temple. And that is what this study is all about. And especially in these times, we need to focus on an initiatic path and on a serious spiritual process. And I believe that that's what this one does, that the Temple of Set teachings do, and the Perdam Heru, the Book of the Dead Path. But we're starting with this particular course, and this can be applied to the other ones as well, is an immersive capacity where you can actually go inside the teaching and rest there and reside there, and be, like you can look at the ocean from the beach, but if you jump into the ocean, then you're fully immersed. And any direction you look, that's all you see is the teaching. And that is the kind of intensity that I think we need for our times. So moving forward, that image that you saw just now you see it in the distance. We are actually moving towards the front part of the entrance of the temple, which is actually on this side. And this arrow is actually this open court space that you see here. And these structures are wells, and they are here. And this is a panoramic view. This is not a 360 spherical view. We'll be seeing that a little later. I just want to begin this talk by discussing with you about the floor plan of the temple. You can see that there are different sections of the temple, coming from the beginning, the entrance. And then you walk through the center, the central axis of the temple. You walk through, and you get all the way to the back of the temple, but that doesn't occur just that so. You don't just go walking through from beginning to end like a tourist today. It might take a long time, actually, in ancient times for you to reach the innermost parts of the temple. And this course will not take all the time that it took in ancient times, but it will take some time helping you to move through some qualitative, experiential aspects of the teaching. that will help you to process it and to understand it and to feel it, because that's much of the Temple of Asar is about. It's about feeling. It's really about which means being, and so being is not something that you do with mind. You use mind to get to being, and so the teaching of the temple is dedicated to getting to be something ultimately, and that ultimate being is an enlightened Akh, and that is what we are told by the temple itself. And that what is unique about this is that I've discovered this is an aerial view of the same thing that we just saw just now. And this is the main temple building here that we're looking at in the distance. And these are the wells, and the two open courts, and the wells, and so on. What is unique about this program? This is the better drawing of the temple floor plan. And what is unique and different about this program, about this course and this website, is that it is based on a discovery of a special and unique connected series of hieroglyphic and iconographical panels, and they are highlighted here in this image for you to see. These are the same ones that we went through on the course when we went to Kemet last October. And basically, this is just a summary. This is not all of it, but basically it's a process of going through purification by water, that's in the wells, and purification by fire, that's in the open court, where you're open to the sun. And then there's purification by ma'at. And then you go inside the hypostyle area, and your physical body is recreated. And then it is nurtured into adulthood so that it can become a viable royal personality. And royal personality means any personality who treads the path of spiritual initiation of the temple. And then there's a mastery of the lower forces of life, mastering rulership of physicality, then resetting your personality back to its original state, a tantric regeneration of the capacity to give birth to the higher self, resetting personality to 7 cosmic principles, or retuning, shall we say, another way to look at that, to state what that is. And then after that process, you are to have your divine birth, and then after that divine birth, you are going to go through a process of developing into a divine spirit being, what I said at the beginning, an Akh. So if we look at the walking path of how to visit these particular panels in their proper order and their proper sequence, they are to be treated as stopovers or way stations, places to stop and study and meditate and read the teaching before moving on. So you wouldn't be just reading a panel like tourists do and then keep on going. A guy tells you, oh, this is this is that, this is the other thing. And without even reading the text, and without having the nuances of understanding the Sabite. Sabite means philosophy, the ancient Egyptian mystic philosophy. And putting all that connection together, if this is done in the particular order, allowing the inner development to go through its process, and staying sufficient time in these areas and allowing oneself to grow in those areas before moving forward, then there is a possibility of having viable spiritual evolution, and that's what this course is all about, and that's what life is all about. So here, on this image, it's the same one as last, but now here also is highlighted these sections of the temple. There are main sections, like I said, where there's a focus on water, a focus on fire, and there are holograms, holographic convergences, like here where you see the number 4 that appears twice on both north and south sides of the building. There's a holographic convergence, and that means that 2 images that, when put together in the center, focus the energy of that cosmic principle. And as you walk through that particular space, you too are to reflect and become infused with that power, with that energy, with that cosmic force. And so that is part of the discussion. And many of you have known since past trips that we've gone, I've shown you many holographic convergences. And it's quite an interesting and powerful aspect of the ancient Egyptian architecture. So we're looking. So this course also, and we're talking about this in the course also, the architectural harmonies and measurements and how they affect the mind. What reflections are there to be done? How that contributes to the iconographical messages, meaning the images of the gods and goddesses, the text. So how does all that come together to bring forth a teaching that harmonizes the mind and brings your spiritual life into harmony, your spirit body, your physical body, and your astral body, and so on. Because if there's discordance, then your astral body is going one direction. Your mind wants this, your body does, rejecting it, and you're going different directions. Your unconscious mind wants something else. Your that's why there's so much conflict and so much thwarting of accomplishments in life. And some people have ability to focus on some things, and that shows that even negative things, the negative RU, your negative thought process, your negative feelings, they're all in alignment with doing something negative. And you can be very negative in that way. But the same way is for the positive. Augmented study through the Temple of Osiris 360 website. Some features. So many of you are familiar with the Kemet University Asar College website. That's where the main lessons and all the programs are done. And now there is a new process that we're adding, a new technology, which is the 360 website that is being married to the Kemet University website. And so the 360 is a 360-degree spherical views of rooms in the temple containing translated texts, which are original translations by myself, with connected initiatic path themes. And I was just discussing that issue, the connected series or sequence of paths that the panels themselves relate themselves to. There's 360 experience. 360 experience is more powerful than other forms of learning. Studies show that learning experiences are more memorable, impactful, and effective. Meaning that if you learn something by a book, or by being told, and while you're reading, it's still not as powerful as if you're being shown in a 360 environment, and if you're being told, if you can experience the song of it, the music of it, the chant with it, the visual elements all at the same time. That is what the education studies have shown. And so the hope would be now applying this to our venue, that will have that much more improvement in retention, in understanding, and in experience, which is a key to what we're really discussing now. Detailed image highlights within the 360 environment. So you can go in, well, we'll show you 360 environment. You can pop up images and things. 360 floor plan with jump links and the radar. We'll discuss what that is. Guided descriptions of each station and pathway. You're going to have a guide in there all the time with you, whether I'm there or not. Experiential learning. So this learning is experiential. It's not just like passive, like you're listening to something or reading something or listening to the lecture as you are now. It's something you can actually go into it and participate in. There'll be audio highlights. There's going to be music. There's going to be audio chants that you can play. There'll be guided meditations throughout the program, throughout the different sections also. Music I mentioned already. Content beyond the physical trip. I said that kind of at the beginning, where we're adding certain, even little nuances that you'll be able to find that make, and I imagine we'll be continuing to add things as we go along. It's going to make the experience even more immersive. An internship. This is a subject I came up with asking her what kind of experience or what she's seen of the site so far, because we're only going to show part of it today, and she's seen probably a little more than what we're going to show. But and she came up with, she said it's like an internship immersion experience, or like a sabbatical experience, or an Egyptological hieroglyphic study. You want to add anything to
that? I was just going to add, I think it works both ways. Whoever takes the course will benefit on the trip. It'll enhance their experience on the trip, the next upcoming trip, and and vice versa.
And when they come back, this will be keep the same feeling and energy going.
But also, even without the trip, if you're not able to make the trip, this is has benefits, because when you're there in the trip, you have certain benefits of being there, but also here you can basically do it in your home. You can do it in your room. You can do it any time of day or night. The temple doesn't close for you at 5 p.m. You don't get kicked out at 4:30. If you're looking at something and you want to sit with it, you want to meditate. You're not in the temple there. We're not really able to meditate. We're not able to do chants. In the physical temple, these things are not allowed. We might be able to squeeze in a meditation if we kind of disguise it a little bit as and make it sort of a reflective meditation. So there are benefits to this that today in the temples in Egypt we cannot have those experiences unless you essentially rent the temple privately. And then even there, sometimes it's limited as to what you're able to do still. So this has certain benefits. So they're complementary. But this is very good for, if we're looking at it as compared to a class online, it's beyond any general class that you can have online to study ancient Egyptian spirituality. You can get close enough to read the glyphs, to study the glyphs in some of the areas with the pictures. You can, use circle around to look at different images you want to look at, get close, move out. So all the features.
Study it with the context of a spatial aspect that you can get from books or from a video, a 2D video.
Correct.
And that, to me, that's very important, because you can see how this room relates. How far is this room from that one? Because it has the spatial energy.
So instead of whereas if you were in the temple, it would be your physical body moving around, say a pylon or something like that. Here, the pylon moves around you. You're the one that's quiet, stationary. And because of your computer, you're going to be moving the picture, the image, this direction or that direction too, so you can see what's going on there. So it's like revolving around you, and you can go to whatever section you want to focus on.
Okay, here's a little article that talks about the benefits of VR in education. So the idea was, why not apply that? There should be another slide here somewhere. Oh, yeah, they got transposed. This one came before the other one. Virtual reality in education. This has kind of been going on for the last like 5 or 6 years, but really in the last 3 years, because the price of these things came down, and more programs have been created that are affordable to be able to be incorporated in schools. And so,
I think actually, I was saying this Father's Day, Hallmark actually had a virtual reality Father's Day card that you could buy and give your father a virtual reality experience.
mhm. So it seems like it really has arrived, and people are taking to it. So the industry is taking off, and I'm not sure many people might know Gerald Celente. He's a trends forecaster, a very famous trends forecaster, and he says this is the future of education, because you can be immersed and you can teach anybody in the world through this immersion. And one of the things they want to do also is to get as many good photos of the temple as possible in the case that we can never go again. So this is a viable, actually, this is not just a step down. This is actually a alternative.
Yeah, alternative way of preserving the temple.
Mm-hmm. So the idea was, why not, apply it to the temple experience, and I had this idea. Actually, I started thinking about this in 2015, but it was kind of early to do something about it, and we're so busy just worrying about the trip. But then, so I continued looking at the equipment and seeing how it could be done and all that kind of thing, and the programs available to put together. All those are kind of more recent, and it all kind of came together now. And I was, those of you who know, I've been trying to work on this. So we had a lot of issues and things that happened in between. So actually, I was planning to get the thing out in January, then in March, and in April, then in June, and so here we are now. So there has to be perseverance. But now I want to go through just a couple of, because this is not what we're going to be showing in the site today, but this is inside the site. These are things that were presented in Egypt when we went on the trip itself. Images such as this one, where you can see a particular panel, and then we are actually going to read the panel and go into the mysteries of what it is, and if there are any special insights into even individual glyphs. This offers the opportunity to go into that, because you can have endless things that you can add to the program in endless depth, to be able to keep on clicking and going deeper and deeper and deeper and that kind of thing. This is one of the texts that we were looking at on the trip, and actually it turns out that I've already added a couple of new things, new texts that were not discussed in the past trip, and so that's one of the things we'll be adding. But there's some things that there'll be too many things to be able to add to an actual physical trip. So that's why I was making that point. And this is, again, an idea of the kind of study. So this is the text here that I'm pointing to in the picture. And this is the kind of depth that we will be starting to look at these things through. And so then there's recordings of the explanation that you can play. There is different videos showing us walking through and all that kind of thing. So it's going to be quite dynamic and quite in-depth. This is another one, and this is showing the location of it on the uh, the, the, the floor map here, and this is what the wall looks like, and this is an idea of what the study was for this particular section. And there is actually more that is going to be added to this. On the bottom right, there's a text that's going to be added to this study as well when we get to this area. The meaning of initiation studies, because the course is called Initiation Temple of Asar course. Completing this course means having received knowledge commensurate with beginning level temple initiation. Completing the course means having completed the academic aspects of the temple initiation. It means having spent time within the temple, gaining experiences of initiatic insights through the lectures, reflections, and meditations, and joined into the temple and self that promote self-knowledge and enlightenment. Completing the course means that the initiate may consider him or herself as an initiate of the Temple of Asar. It means having the insight and capacity to go forward and achieve the goal of life as described in the final panel of the translated text of the temple. I talked about this final, all-important final panel of the sequence. And so what this means is that this course does not say that you're going to attain enlightenment by taking this course. You might. That's possible. But what it is doing, it is talking about, is providing the necessary tools, necessary wisdom, the necessary experience, and the gaining of the Aryu to make a foundation for a viable spiritual path that can be successful. That's what this course is saying. That's what this is dedicated to providing, and that's what it means to be initiated, to see oneself as an initiate, and to be on an initiatic path that is a path of sanity, a path of serious and powerful stepping on the road to self-discovery and enlightenment. That's what being an initiate is. And if you want to feel and experience and be like that, then that's what this course is providing. The opportunity to have that experience. The aspirant completing this initiation course will receive a certificate of completion of the Temple of Asar initiation and may officially refer to themselves as initiates of the Temple of Asar. That's it. That's it for the PowerPoint. Now let's go quickly to the site itself. In the lesson, you will have a link to open the site, and it can only be opened from being logged in. Okay, when the page opens, it has a series of 360-degree spherical images, and this is one of them. And each one has an opening chant, basically just like a verse or two. And you'll be able to turn and look around. We'll come back to the front and look at the menu. Just want to give a little turnaround. We're looking at there in the distance is the city, the modern city of Abdu, where the Arabs live, and the hotel is further down in the distance there where we stay. walking distance. And this is the stairs. This is a newly created area, a excavated area, but the stairs that come from up here. And then you come to this platform, and that is where the main entrance to the temple itself is. So you can feel as if you're standing in this spot. All these spots are, you can feel as if you're standing there actually. Now, first of all, what you see here, this image on the right, this is an image for you to click on if you have goggles. And we have not tested that aspect yet because I have not had time to test that. It may work, it may not work yet, but and if those of you who sign up for the course, you can take it and try it out. But I haven't been able to have a chance to test that aspect of the program. This will work on a computer screen in the way that we're showing it now. And also it'll work on a PowerPoint projector, so you can put the whole thing on your on a wall. That's another way to do it. But let me go through quickly, and then we'll discuss all of that. First of all, you have a little menu. On the bottom of all the screens, you'll have a little menu, and this is the kind of the first one to look at. This is the ancient Egyptian owl, and of course, you know that the translated glyph is M, and so you can click on them, and then you'll get certain information. And this particular one is kind of information about the icons that you'll see inside the site. And you can scroll down because there's a bit of explanation, a bit of text. And so wherever you see the owl, it means that there's information and there's guidance for you in the particular area where you are on the site. If you see an image of a speaker, then there's music or sound. Movie camera, then there's a video. Cards like this, it means that there's pictures or slides. This image of the legs with the yellow background, I'm going to show you that in the floor map just a minute, the floor plan. You see an image of a silhouette of a person sitting in a cross-legged posture, it means that there's a meditation to be practiced there. If you see a black circle with an arrow pointing down, it means that there's a place where you can go and stand and have a 360 experience. And if you see a eye that is kind of hanging out in space somewhere, it means that there's a view from that vantage point. It's not a 360, it's like a picture, like a view of a particular angle that you can go there. And so you can read the text, and the owl M is telling you all that information. For instance, here's a card, and let's click on it, some pictures there. And basically what it's showing you is pictures of actually where we're standing. We're standing actually up here in the 360, and this is showing you pictures from down the stairs, from behind where you are. And there was another, we saw we found one. We found there are going to be a lot of these kind of hidden areas of teaching that if you pass over your mouse, you'll see them. And so that's why for this course, it's necessary for you to spend time and to examine all the different areas, to pass your mouse over it and to pay attention. It's not just to be walking through and just passing by and then, just taking things in and just passing by and not thinking about them, not reflecting upon them. So if we click on this, notice where we are here. This is the front of the temple where we are. That's the main facade of the temple here, the entrance. And this image is here. So it means that there's a vantage point. There's a picture to be looked at from this angle. And basically, the 360 standing point is here, and now we're standing here behind it in this vantage point. If you go back behind here, so we're standing on the top of the stairs. If we go, there's another one here. We can click on it, and we can see image of where it is, the vantage point of where it is. So every time you go back to the standing point, it gives you a chant. Here, on this particular icon, is the credits of the construction of the program, and there's a video here. I'm not going to play it just right now because I want to show a couple of things. If we look to the left, those of you who went on the trip, you know that that's where we started the trip under this tree. And so there's some images of us standing there waiting to get the program started. And there's another one here. And you recall that while we were standing there, we were talking about this area here that's to the side of the temple, to the south side. So if we click on it, we can get more information. And here there's a video plus some more images, some more detailed images of this area. So, and this is not from the trip. This is new content that was added just for this particular site. Just want to give you an idea. You can go and examine these things later. I want to give you an idea. So there's a video of where we started the program. And the same video that is here. And up before we move into the first court of the temple, which is we're looking at getting an idea of what lesson 1 is actually. The floor plan. On the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the colored version of the floor plan of the sections of the temple, the initiatic sections. You see the little image of the legs with the circle with the yellow behind it. If you were to click on any of those, it'll take you to those areas directly. The thing with the lessons is that you will only have access to the areas of the lessons where you're working on until you get through those, and then in the next lesson, the floor plan opens up for you, and you can go further into the interior of the temple. You can use these floor icons here with the arrows to move forward also. That was our chant for this section of the temple. You see your little menu again. We can press on M, the owl, and he'll give us some information about what's going on here. And you have a video, you have audio that you can play. Some of them are the songs that you've heard before, and some of these are actually new audio explanations of different items that you find here. There are, as we said, well, first of all, look at the floor plan. And this is the radar that is operating. So you'll see as you move back and forth, the radar will move, and it'll tell you what orientation you are looking at in the temple as well. So now we're turning north, so the radar is turning north. We're going to turn back to the west. And now the radar is turning to the south. Now, if you missed it, I'll show it again. There are hidden areas of the temple for you to look at. There are certain things that are marked, and there are certain hidden areas of the temple for you to look at. So the areas that are marked are the special areas and the text and the focus of the particular section. And then there are also some hidden teachings, some that have been presented before, some not, for you to look forward to, look through. And this is, we talked about the meditation. When you see these, usually they'll be around the exit area of the section. And you see how you're going up the stairs. This is another section. And for lesson 1, this is your boundary point. You know that we do this with boundaries. And this is a kind of colonnade, which is a set of columns. And then just behind that is the remnants of a set of pylons. And that is the boundary point between this open court here and the next open court. So we're looking at towards this area here. So this radar helps you to keep your focus or keep your understanding of the orientation of where you are looking at in the area. And so, like I said, you can also press these buttons and you can go here directly. But I want to show you another one of the hidden teachings. I'm not showing you all of them so that you can be able to look for them for yourself. But I want to show you how easy they are to find. This is the first open court, and we talked about how a Reiki, would be coming in here. Ordinary people of a novice status, shall we say? You remember there are 3 levels of Reiki or people, and they can have different access to different areas of the temple. And this is the lowest, or the first, shall we say. And so this is one of the wells where you'd have ablutions, where you'd have purifications, libations, all kinds of activities of that nature. And there are some special things going on the walls that we really did not talk about on the trip itself, but it's being talked about here in a very highlighted way in this course. The walls in the distance that you see here. But you see what happens here if you go pass your mouse over the top of the well, around the sides of it. It lights up. And if you light it up and you click on it, then it'll give you some more information about what is going on there. And this is an actual picture from the 2016 October trip when we went there. And there's a brief video of this in here as well.
Did you ever find a panoramic picture of that of Western World?
Not yet.
Similar kind of.
Okay. So this gives an idea, and let's do a 360 view of the whole area. Now we're looking behind from where we came from. If you go out here, you go out to the front where we just came from. And like I said, there are several. I have the mouse on top of the screen, so it won't hit any hidden areas. But I noticed that here, these circles with the arrow, it means that there are areas where you can stand and have a 360 experience. And so we can go to one of the wells here. And that's where we were standing just now. And this is the well that we went to. And we can have a look around from this angle. And it actually helps us because then it means that we can come closer to to the south wall here and see what interesting things may be there as well.
Hint, hint.
And so this is a very experiential course. It means that the idea is to spend time and to experience with the wisdom and with the teaching. And so this course, we'll go over in a minute, the content of the course itself. I want to highlight this one. This is actually how to say it. It's a shown icon, and you play it. You get a sound of water, because that's what's going on inside the well. That's where we were just now, and that's where we were standing before. And you can look around here again as well. And you have a vantage point of the temple from this area. And there are more vantage points and there are more hidden areas. Then you can go back to the place of standing from before. So now, very quickly, let's go and take a look further inside. And we're not really giving away anything, because many of you have gone and you've seen this even on trips on your own. The real importance of this program is that you're not, because you can see this all you want, but you have to have the nuance and you have to have the depth in order to make sense of it, in order to make it effective, and that is the key. So now we were standing here just now, and I guess this panorama was set to automatic, so it's turning by itself. I'll review that. So we're standing on the top of those stairs. This is the colonnade, these columns here, and then behind that is the remnants of the pylons, and there is going to be information about that. There is a new section in here. I was telling Sibajah that the little breaks that the chant offers, I can take my drink and I can take a breath, and this is the key to the difference, that you're not just walking through and talking and just look and not taking it in. You want to take it in, and you want to stop and breathe and experience Nefer. That's what this temple is all about. So we took another step, and we come closer. We see M here again. We see another hidden area here, a video, and we can take a look around. And there are close-ups of the pylon, and also a definition, and also some important points about the pylon in the context of the temple, and so on and so forth. So we're going further in. This is where we came from before, to the left of your screen right now. Nope, I see something here. This one is shown. It's not a hidden one. So you are to spend time and look closely, look keenly, and not rush. And you see the radar is turning as we turn. And so before we go through, we'd be practicing our meditation. In fact, until you find the items and look through, practice your meditation, and so on and so forth, you're not allowed to move forward. That's how we would be in ancient times as well. So we're going to go into the first open court. And I'm trying to think of where I can put the mouse so it won't. But now we're moving into lesson 2. This is lesson 2 that we're looking at. All that was for lesson 1, and we're looking at lesson 2. Okay, and so in the same way, you can pan around and feel yourself in the center of this open space, and ask M, the owl, what's going on in this section, why this section is important, what you're supposed to be thinking about in here. That's where it came from. This is the pylons. This is the back side of the pylons that we're looking at there. And there's a meditation in here. There's the same elements, close-ups, different views. It'll be amazing. The importance of this area doesn't seem like it has much, but it's extremely important in the same way. Yes, actually, we have night pictures also. And 2 of them are already included, and I was going to include more. One evening, I was able to go with our assistant Adam, and he woke with me at night, escorted me at night, and took and a few of them came out very good. Of the temple lit up at night, which was very nice, and so those will be included here as well. So that, for instance, you can have a kind of meditative practice if you want, and feel that it's in the evening or different times. So, and if we're able to go again, I would probably do some more I might do some early morning ones, which I did not really do those on the outside at least. And just as an aside, for one, well, it's not important. It's kind of a technical issue, but it's part of the difficulty is getting the program going. But we're able to work through those. So I think that's enough to show for now. And next from here, you'll be going up to the level of where the stairs are, and that is the next lesson. And then we'd be looking at behind the columns. That's the other lessons. And then we go inside the first hypostyle area, the next lessons, and then to the further hypostyle area, the first hypostyle area. Then the different rooms and the special themes that I talked about earlier, how your body's recreated, and how you are to be basically you're being recreated, you're being remade into a royal personality, and that's what the temple program is all about. So it's not just about learning some wisdom; it's about internalizing that and processing that, so that you can, and working on yourself so that you can become that royal person that is able to sit on the throne. And we're not talking about the physical throne. Okay. Briefly, before we move on, any questions on that? How are we doing on time? Uh,
I don't think there are any questions. There's a lot of amazing, wow, awesome, amazing.
all right. Okay, do it, everyone. Okay, very well. So let's go ahead and to the third part of the inauguration of this program tonight, and then we can also have questions at the end if anyone has any questions. Okay, we're not responding. Especially is more of the world I always wanted to go to, Kemet, and you brought it to me. Yep, that's the idea. Okay, for those who may want to get more information, you should have seen that in the email that you got, but there's maybe a little more here. And this is the Egyptian Mysteries Kemet University School site. This site, the courses are not conducted from here. This is just a site for information. It's like a portal. And then if you want more information about all the courses, the Asar course is here at the bottom. And so let's go and look at the course syllabus. They started, like you were saying. Yeah, we're hoping that we don't get a lot of fireworks noise. So basically, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, just some themes that are here. Along with working through the website, through the special 360 spherical website, you're going to be working with 2 books. But this course is not this is not a heavily intensive writing and reading course. This is just references to help you to get the background information that we talked about of the myth, and to get an introduction to the hieroglyphs. And so you may have in each lesson quiz, you may have a couple of questions from each one. You get a certain amount of pages to read, which is not very much, because the course runs for a few months. So it means that you have time. So you're not going to be like reading and rushing and reading a bunch of stuff, and it's not going to be that. This course is going to be more experiential. That's really the emphasis on the focus of this course, in other words. So don't be scared of any readings, and there's no big writings, no reports, just it's really for a personal journal, but also there's going to be a discussion forum for you to share your experiences and to discuss with others. And if you have any questions, and but you don't have to post answers. It's a different kind of course from the other ones that those of you who have been and it's going to help you to work through the basic aspects of the book, but it's not going to be 50 questions of each chapter or anything nothing like that. This is a course designed to be experiential and to be processive. Help you with processing, help you do reflections, and be thoughtful to stop and at those way stations and learn the glories that are located there, that are going to accumulate into the creation of that royal person of you. This is the cover of the African Religion, Volume 4. This is the one that has the mythic wisdom of the mysteries of Asar, of the myth of Asar, said in Heru. So you have mythic wisdom, you have mystic wisdom, which is more in the realm of the Sebait, or the Sebait is the ancient Egyptian word for mystic philosophy. And that's what you're highlighting in the temple and the process of the meditations and your experiences that you're going to have. Just some questions here. What if you could trace, if you could also trace that path and retrace it at will, or spend as much time as you would want in that sacred space? Because the sacred space is the temple itself, and when you're in the temple environment, within the temple precinct, you're in the sacred space. And so you can go to Kemet and do it, and now you can do it by in your room. Let's say that your room is full of junk or full of mess, and all you have is one spot to sit in. You put your goggles on and you sit there and you're in Kemet. Or if you have a decently clean room, you can put it on your PowerPoint projector, put it on the wall, or just look at it on your computer screen. If you have a big screen, like I'll say at least like a 24-inch. It's an immersive experience. These are some of the images of the interior that we did not show today, but this gives you an idea. But you'll be able to see the whole room around, behind you, up. You'll be able to see down at all directions. Let me get further down to where it talks about the actual... and this is an image, for those of you who are not there, this is an image of, we were doing one of the panels. We were studying one of the panels of the initiatic sequence. So we kind of went over it, a course, but actually also a spiritual practice, a spiritual experience. It's not responding as nicely as it could. Okay, these are some things we've discussed already, so I'll pass them over for now. The course tasks, this is what I was trying to get to. Basically, each lesson, and you saw basically we went through 2 lessons today, but we didn't go into all the details and all the things that are to be practiced there and done there and all that, just to give you an overview. We're allowing 1 week for each lesson, meaning that you have the different exercises, the few readings to do, and you pass a progress test, essentially. And when you do that, a new lesson opens up. The next lesson opens up, but you're asked to spend at least a week in each lesson. You can spend longer, but the minimum will be a week. So you have to pass the quiz, and you have to pass a week to experience that lesson, and then you're able to move on. But also you can go back once you moved on. You can go back to that lesson as many times as you want. You can go back to the beginning and go to any section of the lessons that you have studied up to that point. So that should be understood there. The initiatic path lessons of this course are referred to as initiatic path sequence or initiatic path progression, initiatic path sequence progression, stopovers, or way stations. These are the spots and the panels in different sections of the temple that are part of the initiatic sequence. What is meant by way stations? This goes along with the ancient Egyptian Pertem Heru concept of gatekeepers. When you get to different sections of the Duat, you have gatekeepers there. You have places where you go and talk to the divinities, like chapter 175, where you have a conversation with Ratem, different things of that nature. This is the same concept. And the different areas of the temple, they have boundary points, and you're restricted to stay in those boundary points until you're qualified to move forward. So each lesson or level of the sequence has three main elements in which the wisdom teaching will be disseminated, and the initiatic meditative experience will be facilitated. Number one, you have the sequence itself. So each station is connected to the next one after the next one and the one before. So you have the stopover itself, and then you have progression. Each stopover is composed of three levels of accessing the teachings: listening, reflection, and meditation. This is the Simatawi, a yogic Shedi discipline of Rek wisdom. And the Simatawi is talked about, as you recall, in the trip, it's talked about in a specific room. And that is one of the further lessons. Not covered in lesson 1 or 2, but it is there. It actually talks about Egyptian yoga. And to accomplish these goals, the minimum time in each sequential station is 1 week. In order to progress through the course, the aspirant must complete the lesson quiz and complete the following tasks. You listen to the teachings that are presented, like I say, in the audios, and there are special things you click on, and you get an audio, and they're short. You get an audio description of an area or a glyph, and it reads it for you, and then it tells you what it's all about, what the meaning of the philosophy is, and so on. And then you can reflect on that teaching while being in the precinct of the teachings, meaning spending time in the virtual environment, right in front of where you have received the teaching. So you can stand right in front of the panel or the teaching that is presented in a 360 kind of immersive environment. And then journaling about your reflections. You can do private journaling and also share what is not private in the lesson discussion forum. There'll be a discussion forum for where you can go in and see the postings of other people and also converse with them through the text as well. And this is kind of like a free aspect of the course. You're encouraged to do it. It's not a strict. It's all about feeling. If you feel up to it, if you feel like you'd like to share, like you'd like to share the experience, that's up to you. And but it's to your benefit to do that because sharing, and then I will be monitoring. I'll be seeing the process people are going through, and also there may be. That process itself might bring out nuances that I would come in and explain, or Sabajab might come in and have a discussion about it, things of that nature, and bring the teaching, elevate the teaching even more. So each lesson will have its own discussion forum, so we can keep everything kind of straight and together in its different areas of relationship. There'll be a practice of meditation presented in each lesson. In fact, in lesson 1, there are 2 meditations in there. As you saw one of them, there's another one, another hidden one, to be practiced every day. Each day of the week that you're in a particular way station, you are to practice the teachings and meditations and listening to the talks of that particular area of the temple. And really until at least a week, but until you get through that lesson. And you can listen to the previous ones too. You can always go back and make sure that you're seated and have well founded in the earlier lessons. So that's not an issue either. Until the requirements for the lesson are completed and 1 week has passed. So each lesson may contain videos. They may contain audio instruction guides. They will have the owl that will give you some guidance. There will be short meditations tailored to the specific section. So these are guided meditations that are not generic. These are guided meditations that relate to the specific teachings presented in each section. They'll be hidden, or let's call them latent teachings. And there's probably a better word, because they're there. You just have to roll over them and be thoughtful and be specific in your and not be just blowing through different areas. You have to be thoughtful, and you have to be very present, and that's what Un means. And Un Nefer means beautiful existence. It means to exist. And if you're existing in automatic consciousness, you're not really existing as a spirit being in the present. You're like thinking about the past, the future, or what you have to do tomorrow, or some trouble you had earlier today, all that kind of thing. And yes, there are troubles in the world. We even discussed that last weekend. But also this is true too. And this is the real focus, and that talk should give us spurring to getting into this in a serious way. Especially because it's the expenses, it's not very much, compared to traveling to Kemet, it's a fraction. And so then you do the quiz. These are the main sections of the lessons. So the task at each stopover or way station, you listen to the teachings, you reflect upon, you meditate on them, and then you do your progress test, and you move forward. Okay, and just to give a quick look at lesson 1, we're ending up at the bottom of the page here. Lesson 1, I try to design these lessons so that you only have to go to one place, lesson 1, and your lesson page has everything that you need, all the access, all the assignments, all the things that you need to think about and do, and all the access to the website and to the forum, the discussion forum. Here's information about the books that you'll be working in, which pages to read, and then each quiz will have like a question or two from each of the readings. And they're not trick questions. They're just designed to help you to go through the sections of the book. And there's also videos in here in the lessons. And one thing that I think is not in this particular page, because it was kind of big to include in this page, I may try to go back and put it in, which is the video from the 2009 Unitarian Conference that dealt with the Asar and resurrection. And this is not part of this is a reference, meaning that it is not, there's no questions or assignment with it. It's for your background, for you, and it behooves you to look at it, because it'll complement the book and it'll complement the temple. So this is just an added item as reference, and that'll be the video from that conference, and it goes basically a comprehensive look at the whole myth. And here's a little video, introduction to hieroglyphs, and again, these are reference. There are no. Well, actually, I'm not sure if there are any questions from this. I think there's questions from the book, not from the video. And this is it, some slides from that presentation so you can see them clearly. And let me see if I can just activate it a little bit so we can see. So those slides that are in the video so you can see them kind of a little more clearly. These are actual PowerPoint slides that are animated. Oh boy, we're reaching our time limit. Okay, so that's just to give an idea of the PowerPoint slides there. And this is another just one-page PowerPoint that gives you some familiar words that many of them you will know already. And this is a new webinar a section of a webinar on hieroglyphs that was done for the sister course, Temple of Osiris course. And so that's included here also, again, for reference. And this is a flashcard so that you can start learning the basic alphabet. And again, this is for reference, because this is all going to help you with the study of especially of the future lessons. After lesson 2, this is going to be very helpful. So this is good for these lessons, for this work to be done in the first 2 lessons. But you'll continue doing little readings all throughout, but starting with the introduction is good to get you started. And so for lesson 1, you'll be reading some pages from the hieroglyph book. And then from here, you can go into the 360 immersive site for lesson 1. And the lesson 1 is not going to have as much access as we showed tonight. It'll have only access for lesson 1. And then as you go to different lessons, you'll have more and more access. And so the access will accumulate as you go forward. And here you can go into the discussion forum. And this is where you will post your thoughts, your reflections. And there are no posts in here yet, so that's why there's no writings in here yet, but this is where your writings will appear. And that, of course, is Asar. From I think it's the only animated, it's a cartoon of the Asar resurrection. It's the only animated one that I'm aware of. So I think that's, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was to present. I think that's it. Anything else you want to say? Okay, I think that is all that I was going to present for this evening. I was going to include one more item, actually, for those who were interested in taking the course. I was going to provide a link for you to register. And for those of you who have gone to Kemet, you can send an email. There will be a special link for you because there will be a discount for those who have gone to the trip to Kemet. And so you can register separately. And let me go ahead and put that on there. Those of you anyone who's registered for this meeting will get this information separately after the program also, and you'll have access to see this video again in a few hours. And I'll include the links in here again in that email again as well. Are there any questions or comments about the program? I can try to see if we can unmute. So let's see how to unmute everyone all together. You can put in a text if you want to say something. I can try to unmute. What's up? What email for class participants that have to Kemet? Just send it to kemetuniversity@aol.com.
that's for 2015.
You mean the ones that not going last year?
Maybe so, 2015.
For those who have been before, and we're talking about the 2015 and 2016 trips, you can get a discount.
What about those from the 2017 trip?
Oh, so that's 22.
Do I get it after, or do we get it now?
No, we can discuss that again. So I hope everyone enjoyed. I've been working on this project for almost 2 years, basically, and there have been some technical issues also, and some problems, and but I think we got it going pretty good, and to achieve the original goal, which was, because that's what kind of sparked it, was to have this kind of program. And the other thing is that those of you who know, we went again to Kemet in March. Part of the reason was to get some better photos to include in the program, and we were able to do some more 360s of many other temples and areas. So potentially this could be the beginning of a whole separate process of the teaching, taking this to another level. And this is like maybe the second or third generation of VR. And what is coming in the future, if there is a future, there's time in the future, is that it's going to take a step above. So then we can have we can have we can have, even now we can have meetings in the temple, actually. Well, we can have our all of our computers open to the same room, or in our VR goggles. The next level, the next stage, is to be able to have everyone have or one of the next steps they're talking about is having a holographic image of each person in the room, and to have the immersive experience together in the room and that kind of thing, or meeting in it. So you see where this can go. You see where the possibilities are. I think we're way off the possibility of a holodeck type room like they have in Star Trek, but we are according to the evidence, the level of the VR right now is sufficiently immersive so that it has a very impressive effect on consciousness. So, and that means that the RU that will be created by such a process will be extremely positive, possibly good, if it is meant to be positively good. If it's meant to be immersively bad, like playing video games and other negative processes, violence and different things like that, then it'll be equally, like being in the physical world and having experiences as well. And this is an interesting. It correlates with the studies that I remember that we had studied years ago. We had found that part of the reason why, like basketball players, professional basketball players, were doing visualizations of themselves. They would be sitting down and visualizing themselves making a basket, and they found that those who sat down and did the visualization performed as well as the ones who actually did the practice. And I always remember that study. That was back from the 90s or 80s. We saw that. I can't remember when, but this is the thing. The VR is actually the same kind or even more powerful experience.
Right. I think that the one thing I read about is like they're using it in hospitals for examples, for people with injuries, like where they have to do like burns and things like that, where they have to do bandage changes, and they're using it because when they use it, when the people are wearing the virtual reality goggles, they don't experience pain in the same way. Actually, they're able to get their bandage changed without like being painful about it, as they're immersed in looking at whatever view they're looking at. You know, whether they're skiing down a mountain or whatever panoramic view they're looking at. So it does have a very I guess a very potent effect on the mind, and how the mind experiences consciousness and life itself.
Right, that's a big thing I saw lately. Also, they're using it for post-traumatic stress and for soldiers coming back. You know, because there's like something like 20 veterans killing themselves per day. You know, for the last several years, and so it's a big thing. Also, they're using it for occupational therapy also. Right, it puts you in a illusory reality, but it's a positive illusory reality, and that's what moves you forward, helps you. Sort of like Lamaze classes for childbirth. It's an interesting application. Yes, the price will be monthly. Someone's asking, is this price for every month, and how many months? The course is slated to go, if you were to do it as soon as possible, do all assignments and every week be ready for the next lesson, it would take you 8.5 months. That's how long it would be. And so the course is charged monthly, but the lessons are deployed weekly. If that's understood there.
But they can take however long they want to.
But yeah, if you did it as fast as you could, there'll be 8.5 months. Otherwise, you can take as long as you want with it as well. So there's no rush, in other words. But that would be the fastest as it could be done. Very innovative, Sabah and Sabajah. The effort and work is evident in the product. Dua. Immersion will accelerate psycho-spiritual transformation. That is the idea, Judy. That is the idea. That is the idea. Primary idea is to accelerate and to beef up, shall we say, the spiritual practice, as opposed to just attending even this conferences, because conferences just last a short time. This can be continuous. This can be and hopefully so enticing and immersive and glorious. And the next stage, the next step, we're going to try to do is the goddess. So they'll probably be for next year. Hopefully there will be capacity and time to do it, but that's what the plan was for us to get into. We did Nefertari. We did Temple of Osiris, and Het Heru. Most of it. We didn't get all of it, but we did most of it. And yeah, I'm talking about the goddesses right now. I was thinking maybe even something would be nice to kind of put them together, even this kind of thing. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll be working on this site for the next year or so, and will you incorporate the 360 in the Temple of a set, of course? Yeah, the currently, like I said, there was a plan to do something with the goddess, but if you mean, I was thinking about that, but I just didn't have any time. Didn't have any time to, and maybe this is an interesting project for Syllabus to get into, because I have to teach her how to use the program. At least if she can put together the temple floor plan. That I think itself would be helpful to an immersive kind of experience. And then after, we will go in and, as time allows, put in the readings of panels and some different things. But it takes time to be able to do that. So we haven't taken the time. But the Temple of Set is there. The 360s are there. It's just a question of, because part of the process of getting them together is that each photo has to be examined. You have to check the lighting, you have to check, and if anything needs to be adjusted, because you don't want to have a bad experience and something is fuzzy or something like that. And so so part of the work is done with Photoshop. Part of the work is done with a special 360 spherical program that puts it together. So it's a kind of a process. But doing the floor plan itself is a process in itself, and then putting everything into that floor plan, all the audios and videos and panels and translations and everything else, that is way on top of it. But maybe Sabadama, if you can give her impetus to do that, maybe she can be working on that, and then we maybe we can do something after that, like I say. Do we need to buy the books? No, the books are in the lesson. The ebooks are in the lesson already. Everything you need is there, and you have your PowerPoint. Right, we don't have goggles. You can get those, but like I say, I have not tested the goggles yet because I have not had time. I was going to try to maybe do it this week, and basically, you can use. You have to be registered in order to access the site, but you can use either the Samsung with the Gear, the Gear goggles, and that's what I have. And you can also use the Google and the other kind of goggles. I'm not sure the quality how it's going to be because I've not tried those, but if anyone goes and tries it, let me know. If you have any issues or anything, because that part has not been tested yet, so that part is not being promised yet for the program. But of course, we're going to work towards that and to make sure it may work currently the way it is, because I put the setting in there. So I'm just saying we can't commit to that part of it yet, but I think you understand what I mean. Question is there a prerequisite for the course? And the answer is no, there isn't. There is a recommendation that at the very least, those who don't have any knowledge at all, I think from the book, the Asar and Resurrection book, I think you will get most of what you need there. But really, it would be better if you at least had under your belt the Kemet 101 course. That would be good. And for those people who are complete novices, that would be good to do that. And but of course, if you're more advanced, it's going to be much more your possibilities and progress is going to be sped up. But I try to design it for everyone. For those people who are novices and who also have issues in life, if you have psychological stress issues, health issues, relationship problems, all kinds of things like that, then you should take the Kemet 100 also, which is Kemetic life skills class, and that goes into those issues. So that would be recommended. You could do them all at the same time if you have time, or you can do those first and then come into the 360. So that's how I would explain that. So this course is designed to be highly advanced, highly initiatic. But if you're not founded well, you're not going to get it, and you're not going to. You may hear the words, but you're not going to be. It's not going to, because you have processing of your negative RU to do. But the reason why the course is being open again is because the times that we're in, and because I feel that this needs to be available to everyone who can make use of it. Let's put it that way. And those of you who know what I'm talking about. And to confirm, we need to find our own goggles. Yes, you need to find your own goggles. I recommend that you, like I say, the ones that I know about are the Samsung, where you can use, I believe you have to have either an S6 phone, an S5, S7, or S8. Any of those phones to use the Samsung Gear. That's kind of a proprietary system. You can also use the Oculus, and you can use the Vive, but those are extremely expensive, in hundreds of dollars, many hundreds of dollars. But that's not necessary. You can get the cardboard, the Google Cardboard. You can go as cheap as that. It's like $5-10. And if you want a decent thing, then I think you need to spend like probably around 20, 25, something along those in that area. And I think that should work decently. And the Samsung is a good, and then these other ones are the best possible. But also with those, you kind of need a good PC also. So we're not really going for the goal with that yet. So I would suggest just get a basic system if you're going to try it, inexpensive and workable, and go with that for now. I'm just checking to see if there are any more questions that we missed or anything, or. Yeah, so all the ebooks and any videos, you can see that we're including videos from past conferences and hieroglyphic study videos, and so all those are going to be included. And there's nothing, there's no physical books other to buy. Everything will be provided inside the course. Okay. So like I say, when I get the video in a couple of hours, and everyone who registered for the meeting will get a notice, and you can watch the video again if you want to, and you'll get a link again for the course, and for a link also for the Mystery School website information about it. And those of you who attended, who went to the trip, can contact for the discounted rate, and if you'd like to participate. And
no monthly meetings. Okay.
Another thing, right? We're discussing. We haven't finalized the decision yet of how to do it, because we have scheduling, as Sarah and I are discussing. But also along with this, there's going to be a live component. The discussion forum will be a kind of live component too. Although along with that, we're considering doing either a monthly or bi-monthly kind of meeting, but more focused on experiential practice. Like going into a section of the temple, and everyone tuning to that on their computers and doing the meditation there, or playing the meditation that is there and then following up on that in a live way. So we're still in discussion about that because of time issues and scheduling issues and things of that nature. But the program is also mostly designed to be a kind of self-administered in a way also. in the progress aspect of it, because you kind of decide how you progress and when, and so we will be there to support that, and like I say, very possibly some things will be added, some more things will be added to the some latent as well as open links will be added to the site as we go forward also. So that was a good question. We kind of missed that because we're still kind of thinking about it. Because we've been working so hard to do some of these things that they leave time for other final discussions and putting things together. That's an interesting way to put it, a guided independent study. I think that there's certainly an aspect of it. It's and also it is guided. So I think it's an interesting way to put it. So yeah. And I'm sure during the meetings, during the practice, there might be some time for Q&A as well. And also, like I say, in the forum, the discussion forum as well. So it'll be covered. It'll all be covered. But the highlight of this course, and the reason why I think it's set up that way, is because the highlight of the course is not me doing lectures, although it is in there. The lectures are there. We have extensive, but the highlight of the course is really experiencing the wisdom of the temple and connecting to the temple. That's probably a key I should discuss also in a way as well as connecting, because once you're able to go there and actually read the texts and it's because when you go as a visitor, as a tourist, you're not really connecting. You're kind of like swimming on the surface of it, and you walk through. By the time you go to the next section, you've forgotten what you got before. You have an impression, but it's very superficial. And so the focus of this program is an experience of the temple, the the being, the beingness of the temple, and you connect to the temple and its energy and its feeling, and that is what allows you to actually transform yourself from being in this world to being a person who belongs in that world, in the temple world. And you actually feel yourself as one of the priests and priestesses, becoming a royal personality, becoming worthy to sit on the throne and so on. That's the idea. You have to get immersed in the temple architecture and the visual elements and how that affects your mind, and also having the iconography of seeing how the gods and goddesses are positioned and seeing what they're saying to each other, what they're saying to the royal personality, what the royal personality is saying to them, and feel yourself really begin to understand that this is a conversation that's about you, that you are included in, and that actually your soul is having with the divine. And in that context, you are connecting and becoming one with the process of the temple and the process of this personality, that who you have been, who you have become out here, that becomes a dream, and that becomes the reality. The temple wisdom becomes the reality. Yeah, that's the thing. You want to feel the vibes of the temple. The vibes of the temple. See, the reason why VR works is, obviously you can't go in there and touch the wall and feel the stone and the grittiness or the smoothness and the shininess. But the seeing it, and when you hear some of the lectures, the audio. When you get into the immersive room and you hear the audio of what was said, what I said when I was in that room, and the resonance of of the vibrations against the other parts of the room, because you're going to be standing in the spot where these things were said, where in the room where these things were said, and you're going to hear the vibration because the way that the sound vibrations will bounce against the wall is based on the how should we say, the texture, the density of stone, but also the contours that are created by the 3D carved images. And so the sound's going to vibrate, it's going to bounce off different ways against different parts of the room. Because if a leg of a god is there, or if it's a flat area and there are no reliefs there. Obviously, you cannot do that in a 3D environment. But if we're playing the recording of what happened in that session during that time, then you're going to get that immersive experience through the vibrations of the speakers of the computer, and also if you have the goggles that we didn't talk about, if you have the goggles with the earmuffs, the speakers as well. That is, you're taking it even to another stage as well. So I think that will approximate the experience of the immersion. The sound and the visuals are the two important aspects. And then, of course, if you do this in a room while you're burning incense, that'll help the experience along. So you're making, instead of having, the idea is that instead of having Aru of this world, of this kind of architecture, of this kind of construction of blocks or wood or whatever house you live in and all that, or building, bricks, you're immersing yourself in the visual and audio and feeling experience of an ancient world that was more advanced than this one. So in a spiritual technology context. And that is what you're trying to do, is collect all of those positive RUs and to make new ones, to retain them, and also displace these crazy negative ones, these of the insane modern world, and so on and so forth. Okay. There's some good points that came out there at the end. Anything else you think of? Do I need to look at changing my attire or clothing? That's another thing, because I was going along with what I just said. Consider that if you have the immersive experience, you're going to be having a different visuals, and you're not going to be even looking at anything in your room or even yourself. You're going to be actually experiencing a different kind of reality the more you get immersed in it. However, the clothing that you should, it just has something comfortable, to have something loose, something that is not going to have chemicals on it, that's going to disturb your skin and all those kinds of things. So I mean, to not distract you, to have a comfortable place to sit, have a comfortable environment for the sustaining of the physical body. So if you need air conditioning or what, depending on where you are. So you don't have to be thinking about your physical body while you're in this immersive space. Okay, if there are no other questions or points of discussion, we'll go ahead and conclude there. Dua Asar Unefer Netera. Dua Asar Her Abdu.
Do Asar Her Abdu.
Dua sa nejeta.
Dua Asar Nejeta.
Dua sa suten he.
Dua Asar Sutahe.
Om hatep hatep hatep.
Om Hatap Hatap Hatap.
Hatep. Do everyone. Thank you for joining. And if you join the course, we'll keep on working, or if you're working on any other courses or any other items, we'll continue working as we were before. Hatep.